Hello everyone, tomorrow we are finally off on our holidays. It seems like it's been a very long time coming watching everyone go away on their trips and come back and being very jealous of their lovely photographs, so I cannot wait to go away in some ways. In other ways I'm slightly anxious because it's the first time I'm leaving the dog with anyone other than my mum, who wasn't able to come and look after her unfortunately. So I have hired a pet sitter this time. We've met him and the introduction with the animals went really well, so he did put my mind at rest as much as possible, but still it's just a worrying thing for me, that something that brings me a lot of anxiety, so I'm kind of looking forward to it and kind of not. So I have just been batch cooking loads and loads of pasta for those piggy wiggies, and then I'm going to be adding pig flour and some veggies to this. I'll pop some in the freezer and some in the fridge, and it should be nice and easy for the pet sitter to just dish it up in the mornings and afternoons. Good morning, it's now Saturday and we are on our way to the airport. We're flying from Rome this time because there are no longer flights to France from Pescara, which is a shame. So our route is Rome to Nice, and then we're catching a train to Menton, which is where we've chosen to base ourselves for our travels along the French Riviera. Obviously I'm still feeling a bit sad that I've left Boo behind, but the pet sitter is already on his way, and he's met her already and she got on really well with him, so I really probably don't have anything to worry about. But if you're like me and you hate leaving your furry friend behind, leave me a comment because I totally know how you feel. Rome Fiumicino is a pretty vast airport with lots of options for entertainment, shopping and food. But first things first, we headed straight to get something to eat for breakfast because we were starving by this point. I opted for possibly the filthiest cornetto you could find, filled with galac, which is the Italian equivalent of Milky Bar, which is odd because I don't normally even like white chocolate. So we've just arrived in Nice airport and we've managed to find a bus leaving almost straight away that goes all the way to Menton, so that's good. It takes about an hour and a quarter, so we'll just check in and then start exploring. So it turned out to be an absolute pickle finding where we had to pick up the keys for our apartment, and it took us ages, so in the end we just dumped our stuff and we've gone straight out to get something to eat because we haven't had anything since breakfast at the airport. So I didn't actually end up filming anymore yesterday, mainly because my battery ran out and I realised I brought the wrong cable for my power bank, silly me. But also we didn't eat anything till about 5 and we drank some Hugo Spritzers, and it made us so sleepy that we came back to the apartment and literally fell asleep and just woke up again this morning. So we're going to try again today. Let's go and have some breakfast. As you can see, it's raining quite heavily unfortunately, so we've popped to the supermarket and we've stocked up on some treats. So we're about to tuck into some well-seasoned Comté, which is one of my favourite cheeses, obviously some bread and meats, and these little things are called cannelé. I don't know if you've ever had them. They're kind of a cross between a custard tart and a rhubarbe, if that makes any sense, and they're absolutely delicious. We've got some apéricubes, which are little cheeses with a little trivia question inside, and I used to spend every summer in France and we'd always have these and I loved them. We've got some bugles, which are one of the best crisps ever, I think. It has finally stopped raining, so we're heading into town now to get some dinner, and we've done a little bit of research and there's a savoury crepe place that has amazing reviews, so we're going to try that out if they have a table for us, and then hopefully walk into town and have some ice cream. We first of all stopped for a little aperitivo in a really sweet bar in the centre, and then headed to the restaurant, which really was a little cave. It was so cosy inside. The menu was absolutely enormous, with at least 4 pages of savoury crepes and then the same probably of sweet ones too. It was so hard to choose just one each. My goat's cheese, sun-dried tomato and honey one really hit the spot, and then we took the menu back to have a look at the sweet ones as well. We opted for something with lotus biscuits and lotus biscuit ice cream and some sort of caramel, which was delicious. We've woken up to an absolutely beautiful day, so we're heading to the train station now to spend the day in Monaco. We've arrived in Montecarlo now, and I'm trying to keep an open mind, but honestly it's not really my kind of place. It feels as though they've built Dubai on the Amalfi Coast and ruined all of the absolutely beautiful scenery. It's also very ostentatious, and I'm not a fan so far. We had breakfast at the Café de Paris, which looks out over the famous casino, but it wasn't a patch on what we had yesterday and cost 4 times the price. I do not recommend. I did, however, come across the footsteps of Maradona, so that made my day, as you can imagine. Next stop was a tour of the casino, which I have to say does look like it's going to be an incredible building. We finished our tour of the casino, which I have to say is an absolutely beautiful building, but I certainly won't be playing any games because I'm absolutely against betting and gambling in all its forms. I can't stand it. So it was enough for me to just go and see the lovely building. We're now going to see if we can explore some of the other areas of Monaco, not just Montecarlo, but I'm not sure we're going to have time because we've booked lunch at the casino because it had a beautiful view and the menu looked nice as well. We've just finished exploring Montecarlo on foot, and now we found a boat that takes us across to Monaco City, so we're going to have a wander around there too. Here above you can just about see the residence of the royal family of Monaco. So we've arrived in Monaco City now, which seems a little bit more residential, so I already like it more than I did Montecarlo, but I have to say it's not my favourite place I've ever been to. It's very built up, it's very noisy, there's traffic everywhere, so we shall see, but I'm not holding my hopes up. We're back at the casino now for our lunch, and I've ordered spaghetti vongole to start with and then a fillet steak with various accompaniments. The pasta was actually really good. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. The steak, not so much. The flavours didn't really work together at all. And then it was time to head back to Menton with a very scenic train journey to pass the time. So we did go home for a little 10-minute sit down and then showered and changed, and we're going straight back out because we've got reservations at a stunning restaurant tonight. I'm so excited about trying it. All of the decorations there are redone every single day, and there's edible things, there's flowers, there's plants, there's trees. It looks incredible, and it's in a little village called Eze. So I think we need to get a train there and then a bus up to the village, otherwise it's quite a long hike and my shoes aren't appropriate at all. But let's see what it's like. We've arrived in Eze now, but we have to get to Eze Village, which is a bus ride away, but I don't know if there's any passing at the moment, and it seems very remote, so we've just gone for an Uber instead. So we've just got back from the restaurant and we're already tucked up in bed because we have an early start tomorrow, but I just wanted to jump on and tell you just how impressed I was with that place. I don't think my photos and videos will have done it justice. It was the most breathtakingly beautiful restaurant I have ever visited. And funnily enough, the other day I was just watching something on Netflix to pass the time, and there was this series about these kids who find a key, and one of them shows you what it's like to be inside of your mind. Well, this restaurant was absolutely 100% a representation of my mind. All of the lovely flowers, the bright colours, all of the natural plants, being in nature, just everything about it was so me. I loved it. I know it's quite expensive, but as a treat, I would absolutely 100% recommend going. It's 5 in the morning currently, and we've just arrived at the train station. We have booked a really special breakfast this morning, but unfortunately the only way to get there early enough to have it is by leaving at this time. We have arrived at our breakfast destination, the Dior cafe in Saint-Tropez, and I can confirm it's absolutely every bit as beautiful as it looks in pictures. You can only book ahead if you book the full breakfast, which is what we had, and it's served at 10 a.m. only, which is why we had to leave so early. It costs €38 a head, which obviously is very pricey, but you do get a full range of delicious goodies for that. Now, I promise we left feeling full, but my other half is a massive fan of a French pastry chef that has opened a place in Saint-Tropez, so we actually went for another breakfast straight afterwards. Again, it was very pricey. The pastries were really nice, and we got to try one of the famous fruits. We tried the lemon one, and we also had a vanilla and mango pastry, which was absolutely outstanding. Good morning. I'm just having a little coffee on the balcony and watching the sun come up before we head into town for breakfast. Yesterday was really tiring. It took us nearly 6 hours to get home from Saint-Tropez. So we're having a nice relaxing day in Menton today, which I'm really looking forward to. I think we're going to use the pool at the hotel for a little bit and head to the beach this afternoon and maybe go on the big wheel. I can't remember the name of it in English. Panoramic wheel? I'm not sure, but anyway, it looks like a nice spot to view the beautiful sights of Menton. We're just heading back into town now to have some lunch, and then we're going to go and enjoy the beach for this afternoon. It's been such a lovely, relaxing day. We definitely needed that after yesterday. We just popped home to shower and change, and then we're heading out for dinner, but we want to eat something a little bit lighter this evening because we've been going at it quite hard lately. We were thinking of going up on the wheel to see the sights and the views over Menton, but there's no sunset this evening. It's quite cloudy, so I don't think we'll do it. I think we'll save it for another day. So we're going up the panoramic wheel, and I came prepared with my microphone this time, so hopefully you won't hear any wind sounds. We decided to just do it anyway, just in case it rains or for some other reason we can't do it on Friday. But if there is another lovely sunset, we'll go on it again. Wednesday seems to be sports day in Menton, and there were loads of people exercising on the waterfront and even some dance classes going on. We were really craving pizza by this point in the trip, and I know you're probably thinking we should have been eating French food, but actually Menton has such a strong Italian influence that there was Italian food on nearly every menu that we saw. We found this little pizzeria that served a decent margherita, and I finally got to have some ice cream in my favourite flavour, which is rose. Good morning, it's Thursday, we're just about to head out for breakfast, and then I think we're going to hop on a train to a little village nearby to see a famous villa there which looks beautiful, and maybe have something in their tea rooms. Weather is okay today, it's a little bit cloudy but it's fairly warm. Honestly, I'm feeling cold, so I've got my cardigan on, but my other half is moaning that it's boiling.
Bella, queste sì, lai 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 lai.
During our journey, he told us that lots of Italians come over to France to buy pharmaceuticals because they're so much cheaper here, and that all the French go over to Italy to buy their cigarettes because they cost a lot less there. We had breakfast at the same spot that we had lunch yesterday, mainly because I wanted to have mine from this pink cup, but it also had lovely views over the sea. A train ride and an Uber later, and we arrive at the villa, which is just outside a small town called Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. It's a chic early 20th century villa with 9 separately themed gardens overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. After tea we had a quick wander around the town centre and stopped off at Beaulieu-sur-Mer, and then on the way home we couldn't resist going for another Breton crepe because they were just so good. We went very cheesy, and for dessert a homemade chocolate sauce and banana. This morning we've decided to stay local, and we've heard about a wonderful covered market, so we're going to head there and pick up some nice snacks. can't tell you how excited I was to find this cheese.
Oui, c'est bien, merci.
We spent the rest of the morning doing some souvenir shopping in some of the wonderful shops in Menton and trying their famous fresh lemonade. Menton is known as the city of lemons and even has its own lemon festival in February each year. We were also intrigued by a lady that was offering iris photography and ended up having a picture done. As you can see, mine is the one on the left. So this is all the stuff we picked up from the beautiful market this morning. We've got 2 loaves of bread. One is just a normal white baguette and the other one's sourdough. We've got this quiche which looks amazing. I found my favourite cheese, Bête Mal. We've got some seasoned Comté. And then over here, some goodies. I picked a brownie and he's got some kind of cookie. I think these little ones are called chouquette. And the other one looks like some kind of brioche with chocolate chips. And then I've got a fresh lemonade made with lemons from Menton. And he's got some kind of mandarin beer. And obviously the bugles are never missing. So nice just having a coffee and a cake and looking out over this view. So it's our final evening in Menton, so we're going out for dinner, and it's been quite hard to find some traditional French food actually, apart from the pancakes, the savoury pancakes that we had. So we think we found a nice restaurant to go to tonight. As you can see, I've had to cover up my nice dress with a big jumper, which I had to go and buy today because I was freezing, but I'll try not to go on about it anymore. Anyway, let's see what we can find. We're just stopping to take in these beautiful views one last time. I absolutely love Menton. Right, so we're just taking a nice walk through the park on our way to the train station, and then we're heading to Nice for the day, our final day on the French Riviera. We've nearly arrived in Nice now. The trains here are super comfortable. They are quite modern, they seem to always be on time, and they're very well connected, so highly recommend going around the Riviera by public transport. There's a hotel just opposite Nice station where you can leave your luggage for €5 a day per piece, which I think is really good. So we've unloaded and now we're going to just have a walk around and head towards the famous beach with the stripy parasols. We don't really have a plan for today, we're just happy to explore on foot as much as possible. I can confirm it really is as pretty as a postcard here, although I'm quite surprised people don't mind being in quite such close proximity to each other on the beach. But the turquoise water is absolutely stunning. I have to say I was so pleasantly surprised by Nice. Obviously it's a big city, I think it's the 5th biggest in France, so I wasn't really expecting to like it so much, being a country girl myself, but the buildings were absolutely beautiful. There's some amazing architecture to see, there's these lovely pastel colours, and it just has a really great vibe. I particularly liked this market area, which once the market's finished they clear away and then they lay out tables so you can sit there all afternoon and people watch. stopped for lunch in this gorgeous square where I had the best burger of my life. I highly recommend it. And right opposite was a place with the largest selection of ice creams I've ever seen. Now, I know, Janet, you're going to tell me off because it's not in steel containers, but honestly, the flavours were just too good to miss. We took our ice creams with us and had a stroll through the old town of Nice, which was so beautiful and funky, and there were loads of different cool food options. I even spotted Boo on the outside of one restaurant. Our final snack stop was at this very OTT cafe where I had the most obscene mocktail topped with candy floss. It was amazing. We then people watched for a good half hour or so before heading to the beach to watch one final sunset before our trip back to the airport. Home sweet home, and so happy to be reunited with my booby bear. Oh my goodness, editing this video, it made me realise just how much of an incredible time we had, and it can be quite hard when you're away to try and find the balance between vlogging and actually living in the moment, but to have our experiences diarised in that way to keep forever is just such a bonus and a really good way to remember to be grateful for the experiences that we have. Now that we're home, the weather has turned decidedly autumnal, and like I said in my last video, I'm fully ready to embrace the change in season now. But just before I get into any autumn content, I wanted to give you a quick rundown on the places we went to in order of preference in case you find that helpful. So in the number one spot is hands down Menton. I thought it was the perfect size place to visit, to have enough to do but without feeling like it's a big chaotic city. It was also absolutely beautiful. The architecture, the landscapes, the sea was so turquoise. There were nice eateries, nice bars, and it had a very Cinque Terre feel to it. I think partly because it used to be Italian, I think, if my history serves me well, but also it's only 10 minutes on the train from Italy. So generally just an all-round amazing place. I found the people lovely and helpful. I'm so sorry about Booby. She's not really sneezing, she's just sort of rolling around on my lap playing, which she does when she's very happy. I can't really criticise Menton at all. It was very well connected with trains to other places. Just wonderful, wonderful place. The second place for me was Saint-Tropez. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. It still had a nice, quiet kind of village feel, even though it was packed with tourists. Some spectacular scenery. If you like designer shopping, which is not really my kind of thing, obviously there is every single shop you could imagine. The market was wonderful. The only trouble for me, obviously, we based ourselves in Menton, was that it was quite difficult to get to. There's no train station, so our choices were to take 2 trains and then a bus, or 2 trains and a boat, but the boat didn't get us there in time for our breakfast that we wanted, and the traffic is quite bad as well, so even though we left at 4 a.m. we arrived late for breakfast, and we were really lucky they actually let us in. But generally top notch. Really enjoyed lunch there, really enjoyed the boat trip. Lots of nice hotels to go for a nice drink with lovely views, so highly recommend. In third place, there are a few places tied. So first of all, Nice I thought was amazing and I totally didn't expect it. In retrospect, I would have probably spent a bit longer there. I think you need at least 2 full days because there's so much to see and do. The beach area is wonderful. I loved the old town with all the pastel coloured buildings and beautiful architecture, and the market zone as well was so much fun for people watching, so I highly recommend Nice. And then also Eze Village. I know I didn't show it on the vlog, but it's where we had that amazing meal in the restaurant with the fresh flowers and the edible fruit and things. The village itself is very pretty, amazing views, and there's also a really good botanical garden that you can visit. And then probably just below them in terms of how much I enjoyed them were Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat and Beaulieu-sur-Mer, which were both really nice small villages. They wouldn't take you long to visit, so maybe you could do both in a day like we did. It probably won't surprise you that in last place for me was Monaco. However, when I looked back at the footage, it really did look incredible. So maybe I just went into it with a little bit of a closed mindset because I wasn't expecting to like it. There's definitely a lot of good stuff to see, and it's only a 10-minute train ride from Menton, so don't take my word for it. Go for yourself and tell me what you think. Right, this has been a pretty long vlog, so I'll leave it there. If you've been to any of these places, then please leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought. And if you have any questions at all about the places I visited, I would be more than happy to answer. I'll see you again soon.